All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something huge. This idea that our whole civilization, everything, is running on a kind of operating system. And maybe more importantly, why that OS is seriously, desperately in need of an upgrade.
Wow. I mean, this quote really hits home, doesn't it? It just perfectly captures that feeling that I think we all have. That things are moving so fast, we don't even have the words for it anymore, let alone a way to control it. And the thing is, this isn't just a vibe. It's a real structural problem that's affecting all of us every single day.
So let's actually give this feeling a name. We're going to call it the world's speed problem. At its core, it's this huge disconnect, a gap between the world as it actually is and the systems we built, a long time ago to try and handle it. That's why everything just feels off, kind of out of sync, all the time. Okay, so this problem really has two sides to it. First up, the future is just moving way, way faster than our civilization. Think about it. Technology, markets, information, it's all growing exponentially. But our institutions, our laws, our big collective structures, they just can't keep up. And then, bam, here's the other side of the coin. It's not just that civilization is slower than the future. It's also slower than us, slower than people. The way we live, the way we connect, our culture, it's all changing at a dizzying pace. And our big, clunky institutions, government, schools, you name it, they're left in the dust. And we're stuck right in the middle of that gap. So this leads us to a really critical idea, speed imbalance. It's a great term. Picture it like this. You've got two giant tectonic plates grinding against each other. One plate is technology, markets, and information, and it's just flying along at incredible speed. The other plate is our institutions, our governance, our culture, and it's moving at a snail's pace. The friction between those two, that's where all the pressure comes from. That's the earthquake. It's why we see these crazy shocks to the system everywhere, like laws from the 90s trying to regulate AI, or schools teaching skills for jobs that are already gone. And that brings us right to the central metaphor of this whole explainer. It's a powerful one. We are literally trying to run 21st century apps, I'm talking AI, global finance, social media, on an operating system that was built for the 20th century. Imagine trying to run the latest, most complex video game on a dusty old computer from the 80s. It wouldn't just be slow, it would crash. The whole system is just fundamentally incompatible. You can really see this mismatch when you put the old logic and the new logic side by side. Our old OS, it was built on the idea that change is slow and predictable, linear. But we're in an exponential world now. It was also designed for simple mechanical problems, but now we're dealing with these messy, complex ecosystems where one tiny change can cause a massive ripple effect. And maybe the biggest one, it assumed that one single entity, like a government, was in charge. But today, it's all about multi-agent dynamics. Power is spread out everywhere, between people, companies, algorithms. You get the picture. Okay, so if the old operating system is broken, what's the fix? Well, we're not talking about a simple software patch or a quick update here. This is a full-blown fundamental upgrade. It's about making a huge shift from what we might call a passive civilization to a truly active civilization. And the difference between these two is night and day. A passive civilization, which, let's be honest, is pretty much where we are now, is always looking backward. It's shaped by history, it only changes when some huge crisis forces it to, and it holds on to these old, rigid institutions for dear life. An active civilization? Totally different beast. It doesn't wait around for things to break. It's proactive. It's constantly upgrading itself, building flexible capabilities instead of fragile systems, and it's actually trying to design its own future. But what does active really mean in this context? It's not just a buzzword. It really boils down to three core skills. First, an active civilization has to be able to understand itself. It needs self-awareness to see its own blind spots. Second, it has to be able to learn about itself. It needs systems to take in new information and learn from its mistakes, kind of like speeding up its metabolism. And third, and this is the big one, it has to be able to upgrade itself. It needs to have a built-in way to evolve without needing a catastrophic failure to kickstart the process. So I know this might all sound a little theoretical, a little abstract, but here's the thing. This idea of a civilization that can understand, learn, and upgrade itself isn't just a thought experiment. It's happening. It's being tested right now, out in the real world. And the front lines of this experiment,
There are big cities. These are the places where all these crazy pressures and amazing opportunities are smashing into each other.
Let's look at Tokyo. It is, without a doubt, the world's greatest laboratory for complexity. I mean, think about it. How on earth do you keep a city of 37 million people running smoothly? Tokyo is this incredible living example of what a metabolic civilization looks like. And the big takeaway from Tokyo is this. When you get that big, you can't just keep growing outward. You have to get incredibly good at circulating everything, resources, people, information, on the inside.
Then you've got Seoul. If Tokyo is about complexity, Seoul is the lab for pure speed. It's one of the fastest moving cities on the planet when it comes to adopting new tech. And it's basically a real-time experiment in what happens when you push the pedal to the metal on social change. What we learned from Seoul is that when you move that fast, you find out where your society's breaking points are really, really quickly.
And what about New York? Well, it's the ultimate test case for collaboration. It's not really a city in the traditional sense. It's a global hub. And here's the key. Nobody is in charge. There's no single control center. Its survival, its very existence, depends on this constant dance between thousands of different powerful players. And the big lesson from New York is that real strength, real resilience, doesn't come from some top-down command. It comes from building networks and learning to adapt together. And last but not least, we have Singapore. This place is a laboratory for something different, proactive governance. They have intentionally, from the top down, used technology as a kind of framework, a scaffold, to build a society that's constantly thinking about the future. What Singapore shows us is that it's actually possible to try and design your society's future on purpose. It's a fascinating model. So when you look at all these cities, you start to realize something really important. Our whole idea of what makes a civilization powerful is changing. The old ways of measuring strength, how big is your country, how many resources you have, how big is your army, all of that is starting to look pretty outdated when you're facing this massive speed imbalance.
What really matters now is a totally different mindset. It's not about having big, static institutions anymore. It's about having dynamic capabilities. It's not about trying to predict and control the future. It's about being able to adapt and be resilient. And maybe most importantly, it's about stopping the cycle of only changing when disaster strikes, and instead building a system that's always continuously upgrading itself. And this right here, this is the soul of what an active civilization is all about. It's the difference between being a passive passenger just along for the ride of history and being an active architect, actually helping to build the systems we live in. The future isn't some destination we're headed towards. It's something that we build together. Which, of course, leaves us with the biggest question of them all. If our civilizational OS is really and truly out of date, well, this upgrade isn't just going to happen by itself. It's going to take all of us. So the question I want to leave you with is a personal one. What's your role in building it? What part are you going to play?